As we do every Friday, though, at 3 o'clock, we bring in from ESPN Sal Paolantonio, who joins us on the Boardwalk Honda hotline. And, of course, he joins us courtesy of Dunkin' Donuts. This season, the pregame starts at Dunkin'. DD Parks members score a $1 medium hot or iced coffee on Eagles game day, so head to Dunkin' for your kick before kickoff. What's up, Sal?
Hey, I was at Thursday Night Football last night, watched Lamar Jackson light up the New York Mets, and saw the Eagles game on Monday night, and was at the Ravens-Buffalo game on Sunday, and I'm going to FedEx Field on Sunday, so I'm doing 4 games, 4 different cities in 7 days. Not bad.
Yeah, no, not bad at all, and obviously 4 different caliber of offenses and teams, going from Buffalo, and obviously you got to see Lamar Jackson last night. This weekend, Carson Wentz and a very limited receiver core versus Washington with obviously Dwayne Haskins and their kind of mess that they've got. What is a reasonable, in your mind, Sal, what are you reasonably expecting from Carson Wentz with these new receivers around him?
Well, I'm actually pretty excited. I think that Carson Wentz has quickly developed some chemistry with some of these young players, Boston Scott and Greg Ward and Josh Perkins and Miles Sanders. You know, I think Boston Scott has added sort of a Darren Sproles light aspect to the game. Greg Ward certainly catches everything that comes to him, which is an improvement over their wide receiving core. Josh Perkins looks like he can do a lot of different things in his toolbox. And Miles Sanders, I don't know the extent of his hamstring issues or his leg issues, which seemed to bother him in the second half against the Giants. But, you know, Miles Sanders is the fastest player on the team. So I like the speed and quickness of Ward, Scott, and Sanders as a complement to the big bodies of Perkins and Goddard and Ertz. Now, notice I haven't mentioned J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I watched a lot of him on film, Jeff, and he plods through his routes. He's very pedestrian as a receiver. I realize he had that one big catch against the Giants, but that doesn't really make up for all of the errors that I think this young man has made so far this season.
Do you think that we'd be more likely to see – I assume they're going to play a lot of 2 tight end and 2 receiver formations, 12 personnel. Do you think we're more likely to see then Ward and the new guy from the practice squad, Robert Davis, than, say, getting Arcega-Whiteside on the field?
Don't know the answer to that. You know, they've been very slow to incorporate new players into the offense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
And they are, you know, they did spend a second-round pick on Arcega-Whiteside, and they are loath to admit their mistakes. But yeah. I'm here to tell you, and I don't think you're going to disagree with me, I think picking him in the second round was a mistake.
Well, as the days go by, right, and you see all the guys who, and Terry McLaurin being one of them, who were picked after him, who have found success, DK Metcalf, guy from the Bills who was having a good season. I mean, it does look like it's headed to be a questionable pick, Sal. There's no doubt about it. And you can even, I think, question the philosophy. Even if you felt he was a good receiver, he's not a speed receiver. And the one thing this team lacked, other than Deshaun Jackson, who's always hurt, was a speed threat. So they really passed on a speed threat to get themselves another kind of possession guy.
Couldn't agree with you more. I know they had Hollywood Brown on their radar, and they had an opportunity to take him, right?
Right. They
went up
traded
and got Dillard instead.
Yeah.
So Hollywood Brown has turned out to be the perfect complement to what the Ravens do offensively. They got 3 good tight ends. They got a smash-mouth offensive rushing attack. Lamar Jackson and Brown add speed on the edges and deep. Looks pretty good.
Sal, what are your thoughts on Boston Scott's game Monday night against the Giants and how Doug will plan on using him and Miles together in D.C.?
I like this game a lot. I think his inside-out quickness is something that Miles Sanders has shown. Obviously, he has completely usurped the idea of Jay Ajayi being brought back as a major portion of this offense. It's just too bad what happened to Jordan Howard. by all accounts, Jordan Howard has been a terrific teammate, a very hard worker. And boy, oh boy, this stinger has lingered, and he's missed like a half dozen games now, hasn't he?
Let's get this.
Yep.
If he misses this one, yeah, I believe that'll be 6 now. Sal, let me ask you this. I heard a former Eagle suggest this in the media and put it out there, and it made me. I didn't think it at first, but then it gave me pause. In that the idea that when Alshon Jeffrey went out with the injury against the Giants, that Carson had really nothing other to do than to look around and almost not feel the weight of the world on his shoulders. There's really not a lot of expectations when you've got Arcega-Whiteside and Greg Ward out there, and it allowed him to play a little bit more free or carefree or monkey off the back type of feeling of, I'm just going to go out and fling it and see what happens. Do you put any merit into that line of thinking?
Yes, I do. I don't know who said it. I didn't hear it. But I think it's pretty clear that there was a freer Carson Wentz in the second half, especially fourth quarter overtime. And, again, it goes back to quickness. They just lacked that quickness with and Ertz and Goddard being the focal point. And Scott and Ward give them that. The ability to get quickly in and out of breaks. The quick twitch motion to the outside. To me, I mean, it's invaluable. Quickness in the NFL, I'm convinced, and speed are the coin of the realm right now.
Mm-hmm. How important, Sal, are these next 3 games for Carson Wentz? Doug Peterson, on his day after press conference, came out and said, we are now going to rely on Carson. We are going to put these types of situations on his shoulders. Miles Sanders said he's a bad man. So if he can come out Sunday, get a win, maybe lead a drive late in the game and do something similar in the next 2, is that going to be meaningful for the locker room and just him individually?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. If he can close the deal here and run the table, and Washington will not be a pushover by any means, but I mean, here's what has to happen in Washington. Let's take it game by game. 1, no turnovers from the quarterback. None. None will be tolerated. Not holding on the ball in the pocket and get stripped. No errant throws. He has to play a clean game. 2, the Eagles' defensive line should absolutely maul the offensive line of the Redskins, which has been decimated by injuries and holdouts and this, that, and the other thing. And get after Dwayne Haskins, who's a statue, who can't move, and is having difficulty deciphering NFL defenses as a rookie out of Ohio State and coming into the season late as a starter. So those 2 things happen, you win the game. If Carson doesn't turn the ball over, you win the game. If the Eagles' defensive line controls the line of scrimmage, you win the game no matter what. And then you get to Dallas. Now, if the division is on the line and it's Dak and Dallas versus Carson and the Eagles with a division on the line, and he wins that game and he wins the division, it's the next chapter in his career in Philadelphia.
That would be an amazing story, Sal. Before we let you go, we got to get your pick.
I'm going to think the Eagles are going to do exactly what I said. They're going to control the line of scrimmage with their defensive line, and they're going to get after Dwayne Haskins, and they're going to make him as one-dimensional as possible, shut down the run and just get after him. And I think the Eagles are going to win 27-13.
All right, we're writing it down. Eagles 27-13 over Washington. That is the Sal Paolantonio pick. Sal, we appreciate you joining us as always. We'll talk to you again Friday.
Thank you.